Gita 7.1 Maya Saktamanaha Partha Yogam Yunyanmadashrayah Samshayam Samagramma Yathagyasasi Tachrunu. Hare Krishna is speaking about the alternative means by which one can come to the yogic perfection of having the mind attached to him. Tachrunu, hear that. What should one hear? My asakta manaha, with the mind attached to me. Yogam yunjan madashrayaha, practicing yoga, taking shelter of me. Asamshayam samagram mam, knowing me fully. Yatha gyasasi, samagram mam gyasasi, at knowing me fully, and asamshayam, becoming free from all doubts. So here Krishna is saying that I will tell you the process by which you can know me in full, free from doubt. You can practice yoga with taking shelter of me and make your mind attached to me. In the previous chapter, Krishna has talked about the process of Ashtanga Yoga. And after elaborately describing the process of Ashtanga Yoga, then Krishna has brought this chapter to its culmination in 6.47 by stating that the topmost yogi is topmost yogis are those who fix their mind on Krishna. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. Same yuktatamo mataha. They are the most intimately united with me. Yuktatamo. Yukta is connected, harmonized, united. Tamo is most, best. It is superlative. Good, better, best. So Yuktatamo is the best. So they are most intimately united with me. Who are those? Yoginam api sarvesham. Among all yogis. So actually, the universal scope of this verse is seen firstly by its statement of superlative yuktatamo, and also by its usage of the word sarvesham, among all kinds of yogis. It is not that among sentimentalists bhaktas are the highest. No. Among all kinds of yogis, Krishna is saying the devotees are the highest. But anyway, that is we'll focus on today's verse on 7.1, not 6.47. But the point is, Krishna is very clearly stating the topmost yogis are those who madgatenantaratmana, those who fix their mind on me and fix their consciousness on me. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam. Shraddhavan bhajate yomam. So, with faith, they they worship me, they adore me, they serve me. So now, that means the whole purpose and perfection of going to a jungle, of doing all sorts of things, the purpose and perfection of it all is ultimately to come to the lotus feet of Krishna. Come to the state of absorption in Krishna. The purpose is to actually become completely madgatena antaratmana, to become completely immersed in Krishna. So if that is the purpose, then Krishna is now going to offer from the 7th chapter onwards an alternative process for coming to that perfection. So that madgatena antaratmana, thinking of Krishna within oneself always, that can happen if the mind is maya asakta. If the mind is attached to Krishna, then that will happen automatically. So the alternative way to come to the level of maya asakta manaha is being mentioned in this verse. And Krishna says, Tachru, hear about it. So from the 7th chapter onwards, the mood of the Bhagavad Gita changes to much more positive and affirmative. The In the previous chapters, the mood of the Bhagavad Gita was much more mm, regulative, and the focus was be detached, be equipoised, samaha, 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 be equipoised. I mean, it's happiness and distress. So that is important. But now from here, Krishna is talking about my asakta manha, become attached to me. The Bhagavad Gita is moving now from distancing oneself from the negative, detaching oneself from the negative. The Bhagavad Gita is moving from there to attaching oneself to the positive. And this motion from from the material towards the spiritual. It is not just detaching oneself from the material, but by attaching yourself to oneself to the spiritual and to the topmost spiritual reality, Krishna. This will comprise. This will be the subject of the central six chapters of the Gita, chapters 7 to 12, which are often compared to the heart of the Gita, just as a treasure chest has a upper cover and a bottom and the treasure in between. So like that, the first six chapters and the last six chapters are considered to be like the upper and lower coverings for the essential treasure that is there in the middle six chapters. So right in the beginning itself, Krishna stresses this positive, affirmative nature of Bhakti Yoga, of the process of yoga that he's going to talk about, by saying that Mai asakta manaha, the purpose is not just to detach the mind from everything. To Arjuna had stated that making the mind equipoised is very difficult. योऽयं योगस्त्वया प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वात् स्थितिं स्थिराम्. So samyena, that process of yoga, which for which centers on samya, it is very difficult to follow. So now Krishna, from the 7th chapter onwards, with a focus on Bhakti Yoga, will provide an alternative pathway where the focus doesn't have to be on this Samya, but it can be from Krishna. Maya asakta manha. And when our consciousness is fixed on Krishna, then as a byproduct, Samya, becoming equipoised towards worldly things, will happen. So this verse can also be analyzed in another way, where if we consider 6.47 as essentially talking about the same level as 7.1, so 6.47 is talking about the culmination of bhakti, culmination of the yoga practice in bhakti. Not just to talk about bhakti, but to talk about advanced level of bhakti where one is madgatena antaratmana, when one is internally fixed in Krishna, internally thinking of Krishna. So now 7.1 continues that same stream of thought and talks about fixing the mind on Krishna internally through attachment to him. Mai asakta manaha. So if we consider Mai asakta manaha is the perfection to be achieved, then we can analyze this verse in a sequence by tachrunu, by hearing. What will happen if we hear? Hearing, Shravanam is the first and foremost among the 9 processes of bhakti. So when we hear, by hearing, we we come to know about Krishna. And the more we come to know about him, the more our doubts go away. Asamshaya. The doubts go away. Then the more the doubts go away, then Madashraya. We understand that Krishna is so wonderful, Krishna is so powerful, Krishna is so loveful, he is so loving that he is the person whom we should take shelter of. We feel inspired like that to seek his shelter. So Madashraya. we seek the shelter of Krishna, and then we understand that actually seeking shelter of Krishna is not just a matter of um, sentiment. Oh, I feel dependent on Krishna, I surrender to Krishna, I take shelter of Krishna. Yes, definitely the sentiment is important, but for this sentiment to be sustainable, there has to be a process by which we can take shelter of Krishna. That is yoga nyunjan. We practice the process of yoga for taking shelter of Krishna. And when we do this diligently, we practice the process of yoga, then by that we come to the level of Mai Asakta Manaha. Our mind becomes attached to him. And in this way, we attain the same perfection that is attained by the yogis by going to the jungle, by performing tremendous austerities, by making the mind equipoised towards everyone, and then turning inwards and progressing laboriously from Brahman Paramatma to Bhagwan realization, and succeeding only if they are extremely fortunate and are not sidetracked by other allurements on the yogic path. But the same perfection that is achieved so laboriously by practitioners of other paths of yoga, that can be achieved by a devotee by through the 6 stages. Shrunu, when we hear about Krishna, Jnasya Simam, we come to know about him. That's the second stage. Then, as we come to know about him, our misconceptions about him, our doubts go away. Asamshayam. Then we feel inspired to take shelter of him. Mada Shrayaha. And we recognize that to take shelter of him sustainably, we need a proper process. So, Yogam, Yunjan. And the more we follow the process of Bhakti Yoga, the result is Maya Asakta Manaha, our consciousness becomes fixed on Krishna. And in this way, we attain the perfection of yoga. So this verse is a important transition verse which will provide an alternative pathway to attain the same summit that has been attained by the process of Ashtanga Yoga, and that alternative pathway, which will be analyzed in this chapter and elaborated in the subsequent 5 chapters, is Bhakti Yoga. Thank you.